This is what's on the line next week in Calgary, Alberta. It's a North Star Cup. Last year, as memorable as a final as you will witness. 1-0 Cavalry in extra time, and then Forge punches back with 2 to steal it away from Cavalry. This time around, Cavalry are playing hosts, and we're back with the exact same matchup. It should be a special week. And to help us look ahead, it's our very, very own Christian Jack, KJ, joining us from Tim Hortons Field. KJ, so here we are again. You play a whole Canadian Premier League season, and we get Cavalry, and we get Forge. What are your thoughts on next weekend's final?
Yeah, I suppose that's what we should have all expected, no? Ultimately, after what Forge were able to perform and do differently, go a different route, so to speak, than Cavalry. Look, they're the best 2 teams in the Canadian Premier League over 28 games. They've been the best 2 teams in the Canadian Premier League over 6 seasons. And now, fittingly, we get a one-off final in a different venue than here, where Calgary obviously will be able to fill the place. It'll be special, live on CBC, and of course here at One Soccer as well. So I think it almost, shows us that the rivalry had another chapter to be written. Many people thought last year, when Forge were able to turn it around and score those 2 wonderful goals in extra time to turn it around, that maybe the rivalry was over and Cavalry couldn't get the better of them. But Cavalry have certainly shown us over the last, I'd say, 3 months, a different version of themselves. And I think they'll be very, very confident going into that game. And after watching Forge here, I don't think they'll be truly intimidated by anything they saw today.
KJ, you were there live. It's always different feeling it and seeing the players battle. But who do you feel like this next week's matchup, the finals, really favors? Do you feel like Cavalry should be feeling good about it, knowing that their players are a bit fresher, or Forge still playing in another final and playing the last game of the season?
Yeah, guys, I'd love your opinion on this as well. I've been here about 3 days in a row now, and the reason why I wanted to talk a lot in the pregame show was about the experience that Forge have had. The reason why I threw that number out there, that I said this is their 50th game today since 2019, is because I felt that was going to be the difference. I could just feel that was the big topic of conversation. I think we can all say that when we analyze and we do a scouting report on Forge right now, they are nowhere near the best version of themselves right now. But sometimes it's always enough in what they've been able to accomplish, that mental ability. They had the edge today. I look at this Atletico Ottawa team, and I thought at halftime, I was talking to people, I thought, what an opportunity they had. They had a lot of the ball. Forge let them have it. They had big players on there, big moments, and they couldn't take it. And Forge got their moment. They got 4 corners in the first 7 minutes, and they scored. And they took their moment, and as Carlos Gonzalez said to us, and I think quite a pragmatic and more positive way than I expected, they didn't take theirs. If I'm an Ottawa fan going back tonight, I'm gutted, because I think that's an opportunity. You don't get many of them to try and win a game like this today against a Forge team that's vulnerable. And I think if you're Cavalry, you're looking at going, we've been there already. We beat them in the last couple of weeks. And you're thinking Forge, now they get Para back. That's a different version of Forge. Yep. But no Matusala. We don't know the form of Borges. They've got no number 9. So I think there's areas there that people would say that we can get at them. Now, they've thought that in the past, and Forge have got over the line, but it is not the same Forge that was purring along in September before this bad run in October.
John, do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, there's a lot of things here that KJ said that I want to hit on. One, the first thing he talked about was experience. And obviously, Ottawa brings in a lot of experienced players. But there's a difference between bringing experienced players and having experience as a group and as a team. Yeah, and I think Forge's experience as a group, as a team, as an organization, put them in a moment like tonight where they can go out and do what they did, change how they play, and go out and still get a result. I think that's something that Ottawa can get to if they can keep the group together and gain experience by getting into other competitions, going farther in other competitions. But at the moment, Forge
but do you know who has that as a group? Cavalry
does.
These players have the reference point of last season where they ran that game until Ali Musi went off the field. He just ran his race. He couldn't go anymore. And a couple new, Tobias Warshevsky's come in, who's a fantastic player. Yeah. But that's why maybe Cavalry's better equipped to go out, play in a familiar place in their own backyard on a grass pitch. And understanding what happened last year, sitting here watching today, my assessment's much like KJ. I don't think that Cavalry's going to be under any illusions that they should be the favorite heading into this game.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but the fact that Forge is playing away and they're not the favorite and they're missing guys is going to make them stronger. Okay. Because they're going to say, we're playing with house money, guys. Let's go. pressure's on Calgary. Calgary, and the fact that they beat them 2 weeks ago really is going to give Bobby some ammunition for, not that revenge is a big plot, but we don't let them beat us twice in a row. So I think he's got a lot of angles to play, and Calgary is doing so well that maybe it's a game they won't do so well. Then how will they react? Forge has gone through that. They lost 3 games in a row. They've gone through the down. Now it's maybe the ups only.
KJ, I'm curious with this as well. Is every year we talk about Forge and how they're the best team, and I mentioned the treble and how they're the team that maybe could do well in CONCACAF or Champions Cup or Canadian Premier League and just always at the top. But is this good for the league? Always having these 2 teams that you can basically bet on to play in the last game?
I played watching these 2 teams play, the way that their history, and like I said the stat, they played 31 times before. Only 1 match has ever been separated by more than 1 goal. It's been ridiculously competitive. I just look for who might have the edge in this one, KJ. Like last year, when you looked at the benches and you looked at the team as the games went later on, Forge were the deeper squad. I don't think there's any question about that. But with the question marks around this Forge side right now, and the fact that Tommy Wheeldon Jr. has been able to bolster a side, for me, they're more well-equipped to play in a final that might go the distance than they were a season ago, as well as the disappointment. KJ, you were with Tommy Wheeldon Jr. post-match. It was like something got stolen away from him. I just wonder how all of this will kind of parlay into what we may experience next weekend.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I mean, I've been blessed to be able to be one of the storytellers, as all of us have, around this game. And I've seen Tommy Wheeldon Jr. in different stadiums, particularly in this one, leave almost with tears in his eyes after playing Forge. Now, he didn't have tears in his eyes last week. What did he say when he was stood like two yards away from where I am right now? 1 more game. That's all he wanted to talk about, was 1 more game. They didn't get too high, and I think the mentality of the Cavalry team is going to be crucial over the next week. They came in here last year, and the word was bonus. It's a bonus game. This is not a bonus game. This is a game. This is a defining game for that team. It's the one thing that's left for them that they want, that Forge have had, and they don't have. So I'm with you. I think the pressure is on them. The moment you said there, is it good for the league? I think both these 2 teams, as Patrice would agree, he does the same, play football the right way. They're dragging the football and the league in this country forward the right way with their dedication and passion to play it the right way. So now it's about mentality. Forge won this game today because they had the mental edge over a team that didn't have it yet. Now what do Cavalry do? What mentality do they have? As you mentioned it, they've got a lot of players there that played in a lot of big games, including on here 1 year ago in the final. If they can keep their cool and their mentality, they will back their talent to believe that they could win.
Great stuff, KJ. We do know that Cavalry, by virtue of this result here today, have qualified for the CONCACAF Champions Cup next season. Now it's just winning the North Star Cup at home in front of their fans. It's going to be a big moment for that club. The festivities in Calgary get underway Thursday night with the CPL Award Show. Who's going to win the MVP, the Defender of the Year, the Manager of the Year? Please tell me it's going to be Bobby Smirniotis. He's never won that award before. It all plays out Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on One Soccer.